All right, we're recording. Hello, my name is Jacob Senstead, and this is going to be my final presentation for Beefsteak. So, starting off with improving the company culture. They've already done a very good job of finding dedicated employees and really getting them immersed in that culture that they've built over the years. In fact, that's probably a big reason why they were able to just open 3 new locations in a month. That's what their chief marketing officer, Michael Denef, said in his interview. One recommendation for the culture, and really specifically for new hires, would be implementing kind of a buddy system into their training. There was a study published in 2019, and according to this survey, they asked people if they had found a best friend at work. And the 30% that answered yes to finding a best friend, 56% of those employees indicated a high commitment to their job, whereas only 33% said they felt less committed. This kind of shows that there is a trend between making relationships and friendships at work, and kind of correlates to feeling committed to your job and being a happier employee. And so really with Beefsteak, they know all their employees, they have the means to get anyone in touch with anyone. That would be a huge opportunity for them to help new hires who may be intimidated, a little worried about having to meet all these new people and try to form relationships. That'd be a really good helping hand they could extend to really help those new hires get comfortable in their job. And then another thing on improving company culture, there was mention of social responsibility through sustainability. But they've got a really big opportunity just to contribute to their surrounding area and community with food. I mean, one of the easiest things they could do would be to maybe team up with a nonprofit or even do their own their own food drive. They could have an event where they make free meals for people who are suffering from, let's say, food scarcity or instability, or people who are homeless. That's a huge opportunity for PR, and it's what they already do. And then here's a quote: "Our findings highlight that companies which make higher levels of philanthropic expenditures have better reputations, and that this effect varies significantly across industries." That was a big study done on, I believe it was 100, maybe 150 companies, and these researchers really just took a look at the general sentiment towards these companies, and then they graphed it on a table, they made a p-value, and they found that there was a correlation between the amount of philanthropic work that companies do versus their perceived image in the public eye. And this would be huge for Beefsteak, especially if they want to move and actually open more stores. What gives them a better foot in the door to a new area than philanthropic work right off the bat? And then Michael said in his interview that Beefsteak's mission is changing the world through the power of food. This needs to be their focal point for hiring new employees. It could be for a store manager, it could be for a regional or corporate position, or it could be for an employee who's seeing 100, 150, 200, whatever customers in a day. How you doing? What can I put in this bowl for you and get you on your way? Everyone needs to be on board with that company vision that there's power in food, and the better food they make, the more change they can make. I would personally recommend videos from internal or external sources actually about the role that food plays in our society. It's a huge part of our daily lives. We dedicate 2-3 meals a day. We take time to cook. We take time to meet friends and family. We take time to go and actually get it. It's a big part of our lives, and they can really hinge on that, and they can use that. So for training, development, and retention, Jim Beafor, the senior director for Beefsteak, actually spoke about how they have a pretty robust in-house training and development program that they've been working on. And he said that they are continually developing it, which I like, because they have that recognition that they are constantly evolving it. And, it's really necessary. If you want to have the highest standards, you have to keep tweaking it to raise that bar. Every year there may be any amount of new factors that can determine what they put weight into for training and development. Having the wherewithal to actually go about that and continue making their program better is great. Additionally, really having current workers every year sit down with HR and say, hey, this is what I liked. This is what I didn't like. This is what I think we are missing. How great would that be? You're getting direct feedback from people that are in the program now, and especially for someone who's maybe been there for 5, 10, 15 years. They went through the training and they have been constantly developing throughout their program, or throughout their career, using this program. They'll give feedback over the years, and they might make good decisions on feedback several times, and that's going to be a huge net gain for their development program. Here's a quote: "Able people may grow to a point where they are ready for responsibilities beyond their initial assignment. When this happens, the organization can profitably help them develop new, larger capacities." That's what Beefsteak should be shooting for. They should hire a new employee, say this is what they can do. This is what we are comfortable having them do. And as they let that employee gain more confidence, more knowledge, they do more training, then they should see that employee be ready to take on more responsibility, more demanding work, and say, hey, look how this has worked out. Look at what our training, as well as just helping this employee however we can with their career goals, has rewarded both the employee and us. Now we have a better employee who's going to be, honestly, probably a good example. They're probably going to help boost morale at the work site. That's really the best thing they could ask for in terms of training and development. And then here's another quote: training and development may be the key to actually retaining employees. Retaining employees is a huge deal. Turnover costs can be really high. It can be about 25% of the cost of an employee's salary and benefits. So here's a quote: "They must also accommodate their employees' unique learning and work styles, as well as find ways to motivate them." That was done on a study of employees who, it was a survey done for employees that were maybe thinking about quitting their job or leaving. And this was one of their recommendations, these researchers, directly to employers, that they must accommodate their employees' unique learning and work styles. That's difficult. That's not something you can write on paper and just say, hey, go do this. You need to be in tune with all of your employees, their cultural differences, what makes them tick, what makes them feel motivated. And you, as HR, really need to be able to separate those employees and find a way to target each and every one of them for their development. So for contemporary human capital topics, there's really two topics that I think are relevant to Beefsteak's success. It's going to be retention of top talent prospects, which I just spoke about a minute ago, and inclusion and diversity. So retention, it's not a new concept. It's always relevant. Companies never want to see turnover. And so management really just needs to make good decisions about keeping their employees satisfied. There was a 2014 study on nurses, and they were trying to determine if, conventional rewards that employees can get, a little bonus, a little, maybe a thank you, good job, a little longer break, whatever it may be, they wanted to see if those rewards actually led to higher job satisfaction. And quote from the results is, "However, it is very clear from these results that rewards do not determine the job satisfaction of employees, because the relationship between job satisfaction and rewards was insignificant." This shows that employee rewards alone do not result in job satisfaction among employees, yet job satisfaction is a key factor when it comes to employee retention. Having a reward system is HR 101. Ever since I worked in high school, we had rewards here and there. My first job in high school, I got a reward every time I got a customer to sign up for a credit card. When I worked security, I got a reward Every week I didn't let a minor on the floor. I worked at a casino. You had to be 21 to go on there. These were basic rewards. And these companies that were pretty large, that was their way of trying to keep people happy with these very baseline, non-evolving rewards. And then this study right here in 2014 shows there is not a relationship between job satisfaction and rewards given. Now, don't just axe all the rewards, but really try to make those rewards more in tune with what the employee values. Getting an idea, you want to maybe have your employees take a few personality tests when they're brand new. You get an idea of what motivates them, of what gets them going. And you can find rewards that actually go hand in hand through milestone achievements. How great would that be for an idea? And we could see if that has a much better reward, but a better effect on employees in terms of their job satisfaction. Because we do know that job satisfaction is a key factor when it comes to retention. And then lastly, inclusion and diversity is another topic. That's a big upside for Beefsteak. They're looking to expand. They've got a small brand right now. They're on the East Coast. They could build. I mean, they've got a brand right now and they're good, but they could really build this up as they expand farther into the United States and internationally. And building a brand that's in tune with, the environment, sustainability, other philanthropic topics, and then being inclusive for employees and customers. That would be huge. Professor Michal Morbarek, the Dean's Professor of Social Work and Business at the University of Southern California, actually has a quote in a book she wrote. A byproduct will be an increase in the pool of consumers with discretionary income. The economic benefits for companies include gaining a more loyal workforce that is committed to the organization. You have a really high-profile professor, very intelligent on the topic, saying if you bring in inclusion and diversity and you really make this welcoming environment, you will now have this pool of customers who you may or may not have had before, who are willing to spend money to support you as a business, not just because of the product you're pumping out, but because of who you are, what your vision is, what you are putting on display for everyone to see. That's big. And having a good inclusion and diversity program would be a huge step in the right direction for building up that reputation, especially with new customers as they expand. So predictive analysis is going to be really big for expansion. And so really what I recommend, number one, is using data from the existing stores they have. I know they've got some on the East Coast. I think they have one in Philadelphia. Take data from those stores. See when they're making money. See when they're losing money. See if you have any data on the actual employees who maybe gets more compliments, who quit within 2 months versus someone that stayed for 5 years. And then they need to, look at the performance for employees. They need to look at how similar restaurants to them have launched in new locations and the price points they've had success at. They're not going to come in here and, make quality food and then sell it for $1. They're not going to chop the competitors out from under their kneecaps. But what they can do is say, this is the style of food that we're going for. Competitors are maybe selling for this much. We can give a better product and maybe sell it at a similar price. That'd be huge. You don't want to launch in a new market and cost twice what your competitors cost. No one's going to go to you. And then lastly is focusing on a marketing campaign. And we need those to reflect successful ones before them. There have been really big marketing campaign blunders over the years. And it's terrible. It's detrimental to the image of a company when they spend huge amounts of money. They plaster a commercial or a sign all over, and it's mocked because it's bad. So Beefsteak can really take some core components from some of the best marketing campaigns they've found, and they can put their own spin on it, and they have much less risk of being the laughingstock of companies that have put out terrible marketing videos and campaigns. And then here's potential global expansion, specifically on company culture. I recommend branching out into America before going international. They are, as I've mentioned, an East Coast company, and there's big differences in the United States all over the U.S. East Coast, if they go to the Midwest, it's a big change. They go down south, big change. All the way to the West Coast, big change. They're going to get kind of an idea of what it'll be like to go to other countries for much cheaper, much easier. This is really kind of Beefsteak's own training and development program for their global expansion, is by going to different regions of the United States and learning the differences not only between the customers, but the employees. And then to kind of minimize on the randomness, Beefsteak can use models. They can use the Hofstede dimensions, and that really categorizes your countries based on cultural differences. You can lump countries together. Maybe countries that are similar to the United States. New Zealand is one right off the top of my head I know of. They have very similar dimensions on what affects their, what really gets their employees and customers going. Really kind of what motivates them. So if they can use models like the Hofstede and see what's been working for them and what they should shoot for, that's going to make it so much easier in the long run when moving to different companies altogether. So my final proposal for the company's ideal culture through HR management, as I've already touched, they have a good culture around their training and development. The fact that they have a robust in-house training and development program is huge. They control it. There's less variability. They have their own people that are training. That is fantastic that they have that. And then it's combined with their mission to bring quality food in a friendly environment that they are trying to be sustainable of. Another huge step in the right direction. So really, my proposal would be taking these core components and then using them with contemporary topics. For instance, this would be my ideal culture for them. Train and develop employees with changing demographics and employee engagement at the forefront. Being ever aware of those changing demographics for your employees, and then your employee engagement is going to help with that retention that every company strives for. Utilizing industry trends and new technology to streamline the process of putting good food on customers' plates. They mentioned in their video, they always tried to get it, I believe, by 3 minutes. They want customers to get food in 3 minutes. That is not a lot of time. So, using new technology, seeing trends, maybe they can actually create similar food faster if they swap something out, or if they move to a different cooking style, and that's becoming like an industry trend. Utilizing that to hit their benchmarks that they've set while continuing to put good food on people's plates is huge for their culture. And then lastly, having upper management available for open and honest communication throughout this whole entire expansion process. How much time do you think they spent just having that chat, telling someone that they value training and development so much? That's time that if they can do that, they can dedicate it to the employees below them. Having a pipeline for open and honest communication where they can give and receive feedback, grow their employees, and grow themselves, that is huge for the company's ideal culture. Here are my references for all of my quotes. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.